Let's bring in Ryan Hollins, former NBA center, Rockets TV analyst. Welcome, Ryan, into my heated rant.
What's up? Hey, you can come in real hot, Joey. Oh, man.
I'm just saying, Ryan, you got a lot of kids, you know?
Taking the money, $400 million, Italian vacations, a lot going on right now. The set is hot.
Yeah, we're not giving out $400 million, but I would take $400 million as well. I'm not going to pretend like I'm above that. So it's been a fun series. It's been an exciting series. I really enjoyed it. I picked the Warriors in 7 to start, so nothing has been really surprising to me throughout the series. There's been a lot of questions about Jayson Tatum, and we'll get to that. But what do you think happens tomorrow night in Game 6 in Boston?
You know what? I had Warriors in 6. I think it is going to go 7. I think Boston is much better than we thought. I think they've had the Warriors on the ropes and just experienced one out. Steph had to wake up and be Steph Curry, and he gave us that historical performance that people have been waiting on. I think in terms of Boston, their energy, their effort is what's made them different. That set them apart. And I know a lot of people are picking at Jayson Tatum, but Jayson Tatum is taking what the defense gives him. And what he's doing is he's drawing two guys, he's kicking it, his plus-minus is excellent and off the charts. And it's just rare that you have that Kevin Durant-like score. You have that LeBron James. I think Jayson Tatum can evolve into one of those type of players. But right now, Boston wins with their energy, their effort, the way that they compete. And when they got that identity back, they had success. I go back to Tatum's rookie year. That's what they were. That's the way that they played. So I think that's where their success comes from. And you fall in love with Tatum because he is capable of a 40-point outburst. And if you ask the Golden State Warriors, they're loading up on him. Andrew Wiggins is having to guard him, and he's done an excellent job.
What do you make of what Ime's done this year? Because when I think of the Celtics, obviously you think of Jayson Tatum, you think of Marcus Smart, you think of Jaylen Brown, but this core's been together for quite some time. They've been good for quite some time. And this year, it's very different. And to me, that catalyst was Ime Udoka. What do you think?
It's the next wave. It's what we've seen Juwan Howard do at Michigan. It's what the Lakers hope that Darvin Ham can be. There's a language that a former player can speak to a player that we understand. It's locker room talk. It's, hey, get back on defense. And not to say that Brad Stevens wasn't excellent. He's literally a genius when it comes to drawing plays. But as far as relating, speaking the language, Ime Udoka does this. And I think this is a name that as new head coaches come out, they're going to be looking for that next Ime Udoka, the guy who can put the star over the top. And like I said, I think the Lakers have gotten ahead of the curve with Darvin Ham and hoping for similar results. But, I mean, he's just been amazing. They compete, they play together, they play hard. And your job, Ime's job is essentially to get his stars to be on the same page. His young stars are on the same page. Jayson Tatum could step up and say, man, I want 20 shots a night, 25 shots a night, and he's good enough to do that. They wouldn't have the same success if that's the way that he played. Now he's going to evolve into that guy that can go and get it, I believe so. But right now, they bought into that culture, and Ime is absolutely everything to do with that.
We've got Ryan Hollins in studio. So we're talking about Jayson Tatum, a little conversation about whether he's a superstar, and he's been, I guess, not living up to the expectations of being the best player on a team that's in the finals. That's actually what I think he's a victim of. Because to your point, he's not been bad. They're not winning in spite of him. He's doing things in different ways, doing what he can do based off of what the defense is giving him. But the series isn't over, and he's been amazing in elimination games throughout this particular postseason. He's played in 3 of them, and he's been unbelievable in those elimination games, which is why I think he's going to have a big game tomorrow night. But what do you think the narrative is on Jayson Tatum right now, and is it fair?
He's knocking on the door. Now, it's not fair in the sense that we're so used to anointing the next guy. We wanted to do it with Jimmy Butler. We came one game away from doing it with Jimmy Butler. We've been spoiled. We went from Magic to Michael to Kobe to LeBron to Kevin Durant, a little bit of Kawhi. We want to do it with Jayson Tatum. It's just not there yet. I think it will be there. I think we're in an extremely intriguing place in the NBA where there's no one, I don't care, I challenge any analyst to come at me with this take. There's no best player in the NBA right now. It's on any given night. You can count out, it could be Giannis Antetokounmpo. It could be LeBron James with a squad around him. It could be Kevin Durant. There's no guy, if Jayson Tatum, when he dropped, 43, 45, Steph Curry looked like at the last game. And if Steph Curry had another back-to-back 40-piece, we'd have lost our minds. So I don't think there's a guy right now. I don't know if it's the conditioning that these guys go through in the season. I don't know if it's the lack of mid-range game shot in the game right now. I'm not sure what it is, but we don't have that next guy to crown as much as we want to. And I think Jayson Tatum falls into that. Tatum, we want to crown you. We're so used to doing it with LeBron and KD and those. We just can't do it right now. And I don't think that's any disrespect to Jayson Tatum. He's playing winning basketball. Look at his plus. I'm a team guy, Joey. I'm plus minus. So he's had his effect on this series.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Not only do I think that there's not a consensus best player in the game right now, I don't think that there was a great team this year. And, I was talking this weekend about, just some of the, I guess not misconceptions, but stereotypes about the NBA that I don't think are actually playing out this year. A lot of the referees are fair. This is like it's been a lot for everybody. But aside from the referees and how the games are being called, the idea that there's still super teams, there aren't.
No.
The idea that these guys aren't, they're not tough, that's not true. A lot of it has been defense throughout the postseason. A lot of it has been big guys stepping up and having their moments and contributing. And a lot of it's been coaching. It's been who has had the deeper team. So I agree with you. I don't think there's a consensus best player, and I don't think that there was a great team this year.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know what's so funny, Joy? Everybody couldn't stand the Golden State Warriors. Everybody couldn't stand having a villain in the NBA or a hero, however you looked at it or where you lived. And now you're right. We stepped in and from our side as analysts, we didn't know who to pick. When you looked at these four teams, you did not know who to pick. And we still could go either way. We saw this happen with Milwaukee, and Boston walked them down in one Game 6 and in one Game 7. So it is not a foregone conclusion that Golden State just wins this in 6 or wins it in 7, as much as we like to lean on their experience. It's not a foregone conclusion. Boston is more physical. They're tougher. They can point out the mismatches in Golden State's lineup.
They're bigger.
And then they attack them. And I think the question is, are they going to do it on the boards with their toughness? Are they going to go small? Did they give too much attention to Curry, which I thought so last game? Or did they give too little to Curry when he busted them up for, 43 points? So I think there's a lot of factors in there. But I think, man, Boston is no pushover. I think everybody who's writing them off, you might want to relax a little bit.
No, I'm definitely not writing them off, but I also think this is going to go 7. So throughout the panic that's gone on throughout this series, I'm like, guys, you want these to be long series. In order for it to be long series, both teams have to lose. It's going to be okay. If you make it to 7, that's a great situation. Who among us doesn't want a Game 7, other than, of course, Warriors fans who definitely want to get this done tonight. But yeah, I mean, I think that when it comes to the Warriors, they're very Patriot-like in that they're not going to beat themselves. So I think the turnovers and maybe this is some inexperience with Boston is what's really hurting Boston. Because to your point, they're very well matched up. They have the ability to score. Obviously, you have Jayson Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown, who's been unbelievable. So they can match the Warriors in that way. We saw them go on a 3-point run in this last game. The Warriors were just able to bounce back from it, unlike how they were in Game 1. So yeah, I don't think that it's a question of, is Boston capable? It's, are they going to beat themselves?
No, you're absolutely right. And I think they have to find a way to finish. That's the problem when you get the ball just finds your energy. Next man up. Who's going to take the shot? I think the challenge, we'll address this for Ime Udoka, is saying, what are our looks down the stretch? How do we get Jayson Tatum the basketball, and how do we get Andrew Wiggins off him? And I say get Andrew Wiggins off him because Andrew Wiggins is lights out guarding him. He's playing career basketball, and it's on the defensive end of the floor. He could be Finals MVP. Some may challenge, but Steph did make history, and he is Steph. And the Steph haters going to be out there cheering for that. But ultimately, he has to find a way to get Wiggins off him, get Tatum the basketball when they need a shot and they need something that they can go to. The one thing he's done a great job of, but it may not finish well in the fourth quarters, is they're like, all right, where's Jordan Poole at? All right, go attack him. Where's Steph Curry at? Go attack him. Excellent game plan, but you got to get the ball to your guys or whoever the hot hand is, or, hey, man, go let Tatum be that dude. Put the ball in his hands, put him in possessions to be successful, and let him go and get it. And I think every NBA player, star player, has a sweet spot. I remember playing with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce would like to get to that elbow, go work out, get to his signature step back. Dirk Nowitzki on that left block, right leg up, the fadeaway. You can guard it. So you've got to get Tatum in his sweet spot. And right now, he's taking what the defense dictates, and you got to get him where you want him to be.
I'm glad you brought up Andrew Wiggins because I was going to ask you. He's been unbelievable.
Yes.
And I'm genuinely happy for him because I love seeing people go to functional situations with no drama, good cultures, and be able to thrive when they've been written off. And he has just completely bought into everything. He was a great teammate throughout the year. He didn't want to get vaccinated. He leaned into that. Like he did whatever he needed to do to be able to get out there. And we've seen players not do that this year, and it has cost their team. I think he deserves all the credit in the world. He's been unbelievable.
He does. And I give even more credit to the Golden State Warriors and their front office, Bob Myers and Kerr and everybody. Why? When you pay somebody that much money, there's normally the expectation of joy, like shots, right? Like he's got to score 30 a game. We're paying him. They said, you know what, Jordan Poole? You get the green light. Wiggins, be comfortable. I feel like he had been forced into a role in Minnesota that he wasn't comfortable with. And now they're like, play defense, hit an open three, run the floor. We need you. You're going to have a Jayson Tatum to play against. You're going to have a LeBron James you have to compete against. We need you. And you know what we don't need you to be? Kevin Durant. He came right behind. Those are hard shoes to fill. And you know, mentally, I'll say as a former athlete, you're thinking about the guy before you. You're thinking about what you're supposed to be. And he's saying, I'm going to be me. And never at one point in time did he force it or try to be that. And hats off to the Warriors for not saying, these are your expectations. He got realistic expectations. And on that same note, Joe, I'm going to throw this to you. The Warriors are the new Spurs, man.
See, it's interesting you say that because I feel like the Celtics are more Spur-like than the Warriors.
In this sense, we've created excellence. We drafted, right? We're homegrown. Okay, we trickled in a little KD, but ultimately we still have our guys a little older, a little more banged up, a little injured, and then we have some more homegrown talent than we've been able to acquire and still playing at a high level of success.
I agree with you there. I think the image of the Warriors is not accurate to what they really are. A lot of people talk about culture and homegrown and draft and develop and do things the right way, but then they don't include the Warriors in it. And I'm like, hold up. First of all, the Warriors won a championship before KD got there with this core group. So that's one. Two, the Warriors were in place. They managed their team in a way that they could keep that core group that already won a championship and add someone like Kevin Durant. So complain about how bad your front office is. Why are you mad at the Warriors? Because they do business better than you do. Do better. I can't be mad at the Warriors for being able to be in a position to do that. Yeah. But it's also similar to what happened with LeBron and when he went to the Heat. Like this idea, and it was a super team, but this idea that they just wrote a check. Nah, they all took less money to play together. Yeah. There were sacrifices made to do that. They had to be very strategic with the role players that they brought in. They brought in because they had those three guys there. So I think the idea that the Warriors are like this super team that just writes a check to their championships, like, no, that's wildly inaccurate. Everyone should be doing business the way the Warriors do it.
I always look at it like this, Joy. If we're going to play some pickup basketball, and just about everybody has, I'm not stacking my team with bums. No disrespect. I'm going
because to prove a point.
I'm going to get the ringers. Right. I'm going him, and him. You playing with me, or you walk into a gym. Hey, who you playing with? You and me. Sit the next game. We'll play. You do that. It's no different in the NBA. Players speak amongst themselves. You want to load yourself up ultimately with the best team, the best players. That you can get. And I think in that same note, hey, you know what, Warriors, you did what everybody did. But if they win a championship right now, if they win this one, they dispel all of that. And they say it wasn't Kevin Durant, it was us. And to me, it's not about KD, it's about having your worth and finding that chip on your shoulder. And I don't think Steph or Clay or Draymond are doing it any type of a disrespectful fashion. I think it's respect the work that we put in, guys, and we want to dispel all narratives. And I think as a pro athlete, as a business exec, you got to keep that chip on your shoulder. And that is fair of the Warriors to have a chip on their shoulder, but not taking it out of balance and out of context where it's all about Kevin Durant because now he's living rent-free in your head. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, Kevin Durant wants to do what's best for him and be a championship, and get a championship and have something that he developed. And the Warriors want to show, hey, we love you, but we didn't need you.
Well, I don't even know that it's that they didn't need him. They did need him. He was the finals MVP, and they won 2 championships with him. They did need him when he was there.
He made it a little too easy. A little
I mean,
easy.
come on. What are you talking about? They lost also with him. I understand he got injured, but
Yes.
this is how things go. There's injuries throughout the postseason. Nothing is handed. Nothing is given. You know this.
Yeah.
So you can have a great team and it still all fall apart in the
Facts.
end. I do agree. If they win the championship this year, that's going to close the book on that whole narrative that they bought their way or it was too easy or that they weren't capable or that they quote unquote needed him, which I do think they did need him, obviously, because they won with him. Therefore, you needed him. I don't think it takes anything away from that. We kind of blur the lines of legacy when it comes to that. Speaking of finals MVP, it's kind of interesting because it feels like it's Steph, right? But Andrew Wiggins has been unbelievable. And I think Jaylen Brown, if the Celtics win, has to get finals MVP. Now, I know there's still time. Jayson Tatum could have 2 back-to-back, 40-point games, and it changes things. But right now, as it stands, who would you give it to?
It's Steph Curry. I think he scored in 29-plus in the first 3 games, then he dropped that 43 ball. And if you take a look, and from my standpoint, when we're scouting Steph Curry, and I see what Boston did, he got face-guarded. He got double-teamed. They're like, yo, those other 4 guys have to beat us. When he was running to the weak side, his man would just be running, with just turning his head blindly. That's the cardinal sin in basketball. When you run to the weak side, you're supposed to turn, be in help side. With Steph Curry, there was no help side. So I think, hands down, unanimously, Steph Curry is the finals MVP. Now, hats off to Andrew Wiggins, but Wiggins is in a role where it's like, dude, just play defense, grab some boards, hustle. He's relaxed. There's a different load on Steph Curry. And I think it's tough because if Steph Curry sees that same defense, forgive me, he's not Dirk, he's not LeBron, he's not KD. He may not shoot the ball well. He may not have a great night, but I don't think that diminishes his impact and importance and why Wiggins got wide open shots and Gary Payton II got wide open shots is because Steph Curry was on the floor and those other guys stepped up and Draymond stepped up. And as a unit, they were successful. And I'm intrigued because role players normally play better at home. That exact same blueprint may be the reason why Boston wins. But to come back full circle, Steph Curry, by far MVP, even though he didn't score well.
What if it's the Celtics?
You said what?
What if it's the Celtics?
I think
assuming
you gotta
things trend in the direction that they have been with Jayson Tatum.
I think I stay with Tatum.
I think you got to give it to Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown has been excellent, but Jaylen Brown ain't getting that same attention. And I think you're right. I think that Tatum has to he got to have 2 lights out performances. He closes out 6 and 7 in a monster way. He's going to be
he's not been contributing offensively either. Like he's putting up 3-point games or something. But I do think Jaylen Brown he's been that little extra.
Jaylen Brown
this
is not
finals.
getting Andrew Wiggins. He's not getting the same energy that Tatum is getting. And that's no disrespect to Jaylen Brown. He's a dog. And that's what makes Boston good because they're deep. But I would say, in a sense, it's going to have to be Tatum. But Tatum, put it like this, too. I hate to say it. Tatum's going to have to go 25, 30 plus for them to win, potentially.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That will spring him into it. And I think if Jaylen Brown has those type of numbers, I don't know if they necessarily win.
Thanks for joining us today, Ryan. Very excited for tomorrow night. So you are taking who tomorrow night? Yeah, the Warriors in 6. You going to stick with it?
Oh, man. You make me go against
my pick. Are you going to stick with it?
I didn't know Boston was that good. All right. I didn't know they were that good.
Ryan, I'm with you. I picked Warriors in 6.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go 7.
You going to go Warriors in 7?
Yes, Warriors in 7. Warriors in 7. I
think
different.
Boston wins tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very, very intense environment, more than any game that we've seen throughout this postseason. So I'm looking forward to it. Ryan Hollins, check out his podcast, The Opinionated 7-Footers, with Ryan Hollins and Brendan Haywood. Former NBA center, veteran, Rockets TV analyst, and always does a great job with us. Thanks for coming in, Ryan.
Appreciate it, Joy.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.